West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
For Gooners everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. For match highlights, interviews, and the best Arsenal videos and podcasts. Download the free Gunners app now from the App Store and Google Play.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Unfortunately, I can see this episode not being very good. Well, actually, I can see it being very good, but not what we're going to talk about very good, if that makes complete sense, what's happening in the world of football today. So let's get everyone introduced. After our 1-0 defeat to Southampton in the FA Cup, we're out of the Cup. Our Cup, for sure, look, it's only gone out on loan until next year, so we'll take it back next year. Mark, how are you, sir?
Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm good. I've prepared to combat a cold. I've got my schnud that Lee Judges got me, and I've got my socks just in case.
Yes.
So,
well, that's all right. You don't have to wear oven gloves on your feet this week, then.
No, mate. No, but I've got them on standby. Well, I say that they're in the kitchen, so am I. So they're always available.
Harry, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Obviously disappointed at the FA Cup exit, but yeah, we'll live. We'll crack on. Is what it is.
We certainly will. We certainly will. Judges!
Oh, hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm very good, very good. Hello in the chat.
The laurel to my Hardy, the ant to my deck. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much. Donna's just asking where her boy is, so just want to say that we're rotating today. We're on the old rotation slot. So,
get used to this now. Everyone get used to this now. All weekend in the Same Old Arsenal WhatsApp chat. Rotation. It's all we bloody heard. I'm sure.
We took Dan out. We took Dan out today. He's having a rest. Might have hurt his finger or his earplugs might have broke. But anyway, he's being rested today,
Dan is working late this evening, so he tells us. So that's why he's not here.
Well, obviously not, because he's not told his mum that, has he? Just saying.
Obviously not. Well, this is it, you see. So I don't know.
He doesn't work with his mum. She doesn't need to know.
Well, I've been told he has to phone in every day. I don't know. Is that right, Donna? Is that right?
He gives her 3 rings when he gets home.
Mum.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you all in the chat. How are you doing? Disappointed, I would imagine, as a few of us are. Well, disappointed.
Some of us weren't.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed we're out of the Cup, of course. But as I said to you at the weekend, I'm disappointed we're out of the Cup. But I can see my priorities at the moment are lying in a different place. We'll start with you, Lee, because it got a bit boisterous at the weekend in our little WhatsApp chat. Different opinions flying around straight after the final whistle.
He called us dumb and dumber.
He did call us dumb and dumber, actually. But I thought he was referring to him and Dan, but I don't know.
Now, listen.
No, 1 second.
Go on, you're the host. Go on.
Exactly, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right. Lee, you were disappointed, obviously, we knocked out the FA Cup. You were disappointed that he made so many changes in the team. So, obviously, I'll start off with the question to get us rolling that I asked you in the chat. Can you not see why he changed it? And do you not think that our league position and winning the 3 points is more important?
Well, it's all about the 3 points. That's what matters, isn't it? So let's leave it at that. I think, I just want to say the reason that Dan's been, rotated today, right, is because it was 2 against 2. So these two, Dumber and Dumber here, have bullied up on me, and dropped Dan from the team sheet. Outrageous.
Are you saying
Right.
you can't handle yourself, judges?
I can handle it, bring it on like that. I mean, no, listen, which I think we can. I've agreed with you, and I've come to weigh you around thinking of yes, we needed to rest a few players, but 7 or 8, not for me. Not in the FA Cup. I thought that was bad. I'm going to say this now. People have and you have said it. What happens if Smith Rowe gets injured? Right? What happens if he got injured and then doesn't play against Southampton on Tuesday? Right. Well, my argument to that is Newcastle in the first round, 20 minutes to go, 0-0, can't break them down. What does our wonderful manager do? He brings on Smith Rowe. And only then does he play him through extra time and all that, And also he plays Tierney in this game. And then all of a sudden, they're not playing in this game. So
if he did play Smith Rowe and he did play Kieran Tierney and one of the two got injured, you'd be upset that they were injured and they wouldn't be available.
Mari has been injured. Pablo Mari playing absolutely fantastically well. Yeah, he's got injured in training. I don't want us training no more. Let's not train no more. We might get injured. Let's not have it.
No, that's ridiculous. No, you're being silly.
I'll tell you what we won't do. We won't do a warm up because Martinelli got injured.
You're being silly now.
No, you're being silly.
He's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't.
No. At the end of the day, injuries can happen at any stage of the game. Martinelli was rested in the game. Yeah, he got injured in the warm up. So I hear what you're saying. They could get injured, but at any stage of the season they can get injured, right? And I'm going to tell you where I think this argument. I think that backs me, right? Everton have got Spurs in a couple of whenever the next round is. Yeah, okay. Tottenham are in the same games as us, got the same mentions as us, right? Yeah, I'll come on to you in a minute, Paul. Be patient, right? Right. I guarantee you that when Everton play Tottenham, Harry Kane and Song are not sitting indoors playing PlayStation.
Different.
I guarantee you.
Different.
Absolutely, Harry.
Completely different.
Completely different.
Because Arsenal financially are on their knees, and Arsenal's primary objective this season is to get back in the Champions League. Tottenham's objective is to win a trophy. That's it. That's why Jose Mourinho was hired. Maurizio Pochettino got him in the Champions League practically every year. They sacked him because he couldn't win a trophy. The remit at Tottenham right now, the primary objective at Tottenham is very different to the one at Arsenal. And you might not like it. You might not like it. Let me finish.
His financial gain.
Let me finish. You might not like it. You might not like the order of priorities. I don't like the order of priorities because I prefer for Arsenal to win silverware than be trying to finish fourth. However, as fans, sometimes we have to accept that the club's objectives are not always in line with ours as supporters. And that's the reality of it.
I'll take your point on board there, right? Yeah, so that's fine, right? So and I'm agreeing to you to a certain degree when you're turning around and saying about rotation. 8 changes. Well, I've watched every other team this week in the FA Cup, whether it be Everton, whether it be Man United, whether it be Leicester. 3 or 4 changes max. And I agree with that. If they'd have made 3 or 4, but 8 changes on a cup competition, really, Harry, right? I'm going to say this now about Mikel Arteta. I think personally has kept his job because of the FA Cup. Because I'll tell you this now, it's 50-50 split on that, and a lot of fans, me included, thought, "Oh no, we give him his due. He's won the FA Cup." And I backed Mikel Arteta because of that. In the end, I think he's like what we've seen with Frank Lampard today. Mikel Arteta is a very, very lucky man. Now, at the end of the day, I accept that it's the financial gain and everything like that. But my argument's going to be is God hope we win on Tuesday night, because what happens if we don't win on Tuesday night? What is the argument there?
Well, he's in trouble.
Then
he's in trouble, and then we discuss that, but he's in big trouble.
I agree that he should have made changes. What we're saying, what is wrong with rotation? There's nothing wrong with rotation. I'm just saying how many it was rotated. Arsenal made 8 changes against a team that made 1 or 2.
7.
That's my beef.
We all sat here when Emery was manager, and we all said, and I can remember it. We all said, "What does he do?" Does he put all his eggs in the Europa League basket? Yes, he does. We said, play the kids in the league. It doesn't matter. We said, play all our best players in the Europa League. What is happening now is the same thing, but now I think Arteta is putting all his eggs in the Champions League basket. Does that make sense, Harry?
The difference for me between now and Emery is that from the day we dropped out of the Champions League, the primary objective of this football club has been to get back in the Champions League. And whether we like it or not, it's for financial reasons. So when people are saying, oh, it's not about the finance, to me and you it isn't, but to the club it is. Yeah, and it's their football club at the end of the day. They're the ones that own it, and they do what they feel, right? Unai Emery made a massive mistake, because what Unai Emery did was he gambled one of our routes into the Champions League, right? He gambled the Premier League when he changed the team against Crystal Palace, and he gambled when he messed it up with Brighton as well the week after, right? So he lost one of his potential routes into the Champions League. My argument here as to why Mikel Arteta gambling the FA Cup is not as bad is because the FA Cup has never been a route into the Champions League. So it's different, right? You're not gambling with one of your potential routes into achieving your objective. So there's that point. Also, we're in a season now where the games are more condensed than they've ever been. Going into that game against Southampton, including that game, had we progressed and played a 5th round tie, we'd have played 11 games between the 3rd of January and the end of February. That's way too many games. There had to be changes. Yeah, there can be a debate about whether there was too many or not. Fine, I accept that. You know, there is a middle ground maybe to be found. But the point here is that for the football club, it's about getting in the Champions League. And we might not like that, but we have to accept that. That's what the club are aiming for. So on Mikel Arteta, in Mikel Arteta's office, on his little notice board, when he's got the competitions listed in level of priorities, the FA Cup comes third. Sadly, that's the reality of it, because it doesn't offer us a route to the goal of our season. And people might not like that, but that's just how it is.
Absolutely, mate.
Can I ask you a question? I'll ask you two a question then. I want to ask you two a question then, right? Yeah. And I think that's fine. That's fine. And I accept that. So what are you saying now then? If Mikel Arteta does not get top 4 and doesn't get the Europa League, is that in your opinion that he's got to go?
Well,
He'd have failed.
It's failure. It's a failure, yeah. But what my argument, my comeback to that would be,
and has he been back properly?
We've all spoke about giving him time, this, that, and the other. There's a lot of people out there that think he should go now. There's people who can see what's happening at this moment in time, like me. I think the Arteta process has only just started. Ozil gone, Socrates gone, Mustafi out the door. Supposedly Guendouzi, the dead wood is finally starting to leave. This is something we wanted done for the last 4 years, and it's actually starting to happen now. We have Odegaard coming in on loan from Real Madrid, who by all terms of what I've heard is a fantastic player. Partey's coming. We're doing. I believe our league position is bad, but I believe that we're better in some places on the pitch than we have been previously. So for me, if he doesn't get us into the Champions League, or if we don't at least finish top 6 league, it's a failure, mate. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It's a failure.
But again, what's the club's definition of a failure?
Failure, yeah.
Because that's what matters, isn't it? That's what's going to determine whether Mikel Arteta loses his job or not, if he hasn't met the club's objectives.
But we all know that unfortunately, it might be unfortunate for Arsenal Football Club that if we don't qualify for the Champions League, be it in the top 4, because look, I've said this all weekend. If we beat Southampton on Tuesday night, we're only 4 points off the top 4. So if you're looking at that through Mikel Arteta's eyes, you can see why he's prioritised a team to play Southampton on Tuesday night in the league.
You've also got the other thing as well, Craig, that you've got to consider is when you talk about the players that he left out, right? For example, Emile Smith-Rowe. We've all spoken about it for the entirety of this season. Injuries have been an issue for Emile Smith-Rowe. So overusing him, I can understand why Mikel was reluctant to do that. Kieran Tierney was just about past fit to play that Newcastle game after he had a problem. So they're the only two that he left at home, remember? They're the only two that he left at home. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was meant to be in that side, was meant to be part of the squad at least. We don't know if he was going to start, but he got sent home. So actually, Mikel went to Southampton and he did make changes. But apart from 2 players, he took everybody with him. So he hasn't taken this game as lightly as some are suggesting. And actually, that team that was on the pitch, I know they've not been performing of late, but you'd still, you still expect more from them, don't you? And those
it was a piss poor performance from them. Yeah. They were rubbish. And then...
Whoa. Expect what? I don't expect nothing off of Willian no more, Harry. I don't expect what I expect.
No, but
what I've seen is the team coming 15th in the league with those players. You know what I mean? Like Pepe playing, Willian playing. They've played the majority of the time when we've been 15th. It's only since the kids have come in that we've changed it around a little bit. When Smith Rowe played against Chelsea on that day, we was 15th in the league. So these players have been Willian has been letting us down all season for whatever reason, and he's been given chance after chance after chance, right? Why don't you put Pepe in that position and see what happens? You know what I mean? Like, try something different. Pepe, by the way, has been letting us down. Also, so has Eddie. You know what I mean? Like, Martinelli wasn't quite fit enough, and it was a poor performance. I get along with that. But how many times have we seen Xhaka and El Neni, and we've said, well, that ain't got no creativity towards it, and there it is, played again. So what do you know? When I looked at that team, I just thought to myself, well, that was my thing. I felt it would, that team would have probably beaten a makeshift Southampton team, but he must have known that somewhere on the line that Southampton were going to go for it big time. You know what I mean? Like, I never looked at our team and thought, oh no, but it's when I see their team, I went, that's us gone. Yeah.
I don't disagree with you that the changes were strange. I don't disagree with that, but I can see why he did it. When you first look at the team sheet, you think, oh fucking hell, he's playing, but actually he's obviously resting for Tuesday night. That's, to me as an Arsenal fan, the 3 points on Tuesday are more important to me. I don't know. People have different opinions, and that's what makes the world go round. Mark, thank you for sitting there so quietly. Why we all have a little argument between ourselves. This one comes in from Bill. Thank you for your kind donation, Bill. A supporter of the Same Old Arsenal podcast since we've been going. Been here a very long time. Thanks for your support, mate. Mark, I'll come to you, mate. I love us winning the cup, but it's time to show more ambition. We can still get top 4 with a run. Also, we can win the Europa League.
Bill, if we win the Europa League, I'll buy you that McDonald's burger back, like, you know what I mean?
You'll have it delivered to you, Deliveroo.
Oh, Deliveroo.
Mark, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that that team he put out yesterday, had enough about it to win that game, and for a lot of missed chances, when you look back and take the emotion out of it, it's a catalogue of missed chances. We've got Cedric, golden opportunity in the first half, plenty of time at the back posts. Willian's cross doesn't hit the target. Martinelli, a beautiful free kick, works. Willian was the decoy, and training ground set piece, what the guy from Brentford was brought in to do, and it worked, an absolute dream. Martinelli goes clean through. Air kick, completely fluffs the ball from about 4 yards. It just needed anything, redirecting it towards goal. That is a golden opportunity. Missed the target, or missed the ball. Rob Holding, early in the second half, ball drops at his feet. It didn't really come down for him, but again, he didn't work the goalie, missed the target. Eddie Nketiah pulls off a really good save, actually. Fraser Forrester pulls off a really good save from Eddie. And then again, Eddie gets the last chance of the game to be the hero and misses the target. So, you look at our... And we've only hit the target twice, which is really, really, really poor. And that is not down to the manager. That is down to people lacking in confidence, lacking in game time, just lacking quality potentially. What can the manager do? He has a squad, and the squads are there for a reason. These games are, as Harry said, games are coming thick and fast. He's got to use that squad. He's going to get lambasted if he plays Smith Rowe and Saka continuously, game after game after game after game, and then one of them pulls up with an injury. All the fans will be going, "Oh, he's overworked." And you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Personally, I will never, ever, ever, ever be happy about losing any football game, especially when there's a silverware at the end of it. But you can't win them all. You can't. And we're talking about priorities. What is our priority? Our priority is to get back in the big time. And every footballer dreams of playing Champions League football. That is the sad truth. They may run around on the pitch dreaming of scoring the winning goal at Wembley, but their agent and their bank account and their career will be telling them to get at a club in the Champions League, because that's where the gold is. And sad. It's really sad that it almost became a joke under Wenger that top four was a trophy, wasn't it? And he did it so well for so many years. Arguably, there was not as much competition for the top four as what there is now. You could pick six or seven teams now that are worthy of a top four place. We are one or two transfer windows away from that. The squad is taking shape. He's doing really well, in my opinion, in this window. Socrates, we thank him. He leaves us today. There's big chat about Mustafi cancelling his contract as well, and we'll thank him for his service and wish him well. But we always knew it was going to take time, and I just think, okay, look at that talent he put out there yesterday. Willian, Pepe, Martinelli, who everyone's raving about. El Nini had a great start to the season. Xhaka is still one of our best midfielders because we've got no one else. Gabriel, Holding, Bellerin, Leno, these are all first-team players, and we've just got unlucky yesterday. So I don't think we need to go too crazy on the manager about it. In all truthfulness, we just lost the game.
Can I just make one other point as well? We were talking about sort of the finances of it and the kind of priorities and stuff. And for example, right, the FA Cup, it brings the winners around about an estimated £4 million, right? When you win the competition, that's for going all the way. Now, the difference between, for example, finishing 10th, and this is based on not last season, the seasons before's Premier League revenue figures, right? In terms of what the Premier League pay you as prize money for your finish. So your TV money plus your prize money. And it'll be even more now because the TV deals are always going up. Finishing 10th, the difference between finishing 10th and finishing in 8th position, right, it's 2, 9, 10, 11 million pounds. 11 million pounds
of a difference
between finishing 8th and 10th in the Premier League. So this is the thing I keep coming back to. We don't give a shit about that. We only care about the football team doing well. But from the club's perspective, when they're having to go and take loans out from the Bank of England, when they were on their knees financially in the first place because they were working on a Champions League, wage structure with Europa League income. This has been a build-up of years and years of us not being able to get back in the Champions League that we've fallen into this position. So if you're talking about the difference between finishing 10th and 8th, and Arsenal fans will go, and I would say it as well, who cares? I'd rather finish 10th than 8th, but win the FA Cup. But the club don't see it like that. And Mikel Arteta works for the club.
What do you get for winning the cup, though, Harry?
Around about £4 million.
Yeah, so I'd rather sacrifice £5 million and win the FA Cup.
Yeah, but you would, because you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, that also
as a
gets you into
businessman,
Europe.
you wouldn't.
That also gets you into Europe.
Gets you into Europe, and 8th don't.
It does get us into Europe, but we don't do we want to be a Europa League side? Are we happy to be a Europa League side?
No, we want to win trophies. That's what the idea of playing football is.
Let's be basically honest about it. The club, which Harry is saying there, is more interested about getting £3 and £4 million through a league position. Why don't the club do their job properly and sell players instead of giving them away so that we can go for titles and trophies?
Agreed.
The fact of the matter is, because the club is so piss poorly run, we're just letting Socrates go out the door for nothing. I'll tell you what. Why don't we sell him in the summer instead of trying to offer him a contract and giving the captaincy for 10 million? So we can. Does it really matter where we go in the league? There's little things like that. I get what Harry's saying, right? And at this moment in time, we're not guaranteed. You know, I remember somebody saying last season, like, if we don't get Europe, we're going to be screwed. Well, there's no guarantee we're going to get Europe. There's no guarantee we're going to get win the Europa League with the teams that are in it. And at this moment in time, I think it's going to be tough to get top four or top five or whatever it is, top six to get to Europe, Harry, I think it is.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I'm not saying that I agree with the approach. I'm just saying.
No, I know you're not. I know you're saying what you're saying.
That's how they're looking at it. You know, they're looking at it from a purely financial standpoint. And ultimately, Mikel Arteta works for them, not for me or you. I know we're the fans and we support the club.
Got
and
a billionaire owner, by the way. And we're worrying about 11th and 10th.
Yeah, he's got to manage the club's expectations as well, which is the problem here. The problem is Arsenal are being run by people that don't really give a shit about the football. They only care about their pockets. It's always been that way. Yes, they've spent money in recent seasons and all that, but they'll want that back. They're only doing it because they believe they can make it back. There's no other reason. There's no football motivation from the Cronkies. It's that simple.
I get that, and that's I think is a problem, and that's where, like, whether you like it or not, Harry, Chelsea have done what they've done because you know their manager wants to win trophies. The be end and end all to him is trophy winning, and that is it. And listen, I've been brought up on the FA Cup and things like that, and I think, you know, listen, I done my nut a few years ago when Wenger done the same thing. I get it. If you're going for the title like Man United or Liverpool, and you surrender the FA Cup, and we've done that on many occasions when we're going for the Championship or the Champions League. We're nowhere near the Champions League at the moment. We're nowhere near winning the league. In fact, we're not really competing for a top four place. So I'll tell you what we do. We'll throw that one away. And I'll tell you what, when we get into the Champions League, right, if we ever do get in there, that's another trophy we're never going to win. So that's the Premier League and the Champions League that we're not going to win. It leaves us the League Cup where we play the kids, and the FA Cup. You know, and this is my problem. You know, you only get 4 opportunities to win a trophy, and I don't think a club like Arsenal, in the position that we're in, should be throwing that away for the sake of £1 million.
He didn't throw it away. He put out a team with enough quality and enough.
Too many players out of form, Mark.
Yeah, but Mark is right. I agree with you, Lee.
Let him down, don't they? The players have let him down. But they've, it comes down to a young lad and Cedric and Eddie. They've just missed a few golden chances, and you can't do that in football league. You know that. You can't squander that many chances.
If they go in, right? If they go in and we come away with 3,
he's been doing that all season, Mark, and he's still playing him.
He's got no one else, though, has he? Like,
he's got. He has.
He's got the young lad, Balogun. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know, you're trying to get this player to sign who to me looks the real deal. I'm not saying he is, but he looks the part, and we're giving a kid that in my eyes is never going to make it at Arsenal. Chance after chance after chance.
Well, I think what's going on with Balogun is I think he needs to be taken down a peg or two. You can't have an under 23 player demanding to Mikel Arteta what he wants before he signs a contract. You can't have that. Sorry, and if that's his attitude, I can see why it's being stalled. You can't have a young fella if it's true. You can't have a fella coming from the under 23s dictating to the manager what he wants.
The problem here as well is that because there are so many other clubs circling, it's given him a bit of a platform, hasn't it, to come up and say,
I get that, but you can't. Yeah, I get that, mate. But as an under 23 player, you can't have that. I'm sorry.
I agree with what you're saying, but as Harry's alluded, if I don't know, just say for instance, we say Crystal Palace are saying that we'll give you that money. You know what I mean? Like, you know. And you really want to stay at Arsenal, well, you know, match it, and because I want to stay here. I don't know. We don't know the ins and outs.
We don't know exactly.
What we do know, though, is it's not money is not the main issue here. It's game time.
He wants game time. And I'm watching Eddie get game after game, foul after foul, if I was Balogun, I'd be going to me. When are you going to give me those shorter chances?
I agree with you there massively. I agree with you there massively. Balogun should be.
Well played.
I've said this loads of times, and
My
we've all
work
said
is
it loads.
done.
We've said it loads of times last year that Balogun, before Christmas in the Europa League and stuff like that. Balogun, there is no reason why Balogun shouldn't be in the team ahead of Eddie, in my opinion. He looks better than Eddie in the very short space of time that we've seen him. Mark, this one comes in from Alexander. Those players did not do enough. I'm sorry, Eddie is not good enough. Willian is not good enough. Pepe is not good enough. Arteta is doing his best.
He's working with the tools he's got, Craig.
He's working with the tools he's got. Now, Mark makes a really good point there when he was coming in, and he was saying that, if those goals go in, Lee, and we win the game 3-1, we're sitting here tonight going, cool, that was a masterstroke by Arteta. We've got Saka fit, we've got Tierney fit, we've got Smith Rowe fit, and we're in the 5th round of the Cup. Beautiful.
Fantastic. If, the big word if. And if Eddie takes his chances and Martinelli takes his chances, everybody will be saying Pepe, two assists. But the fact of the matter is, you've got Pepe out of form, you've got Eddie out of form, you've got Martinelli's just coming back, and then you've got Willian that ain't got any form whatsoever. Then you put on top of that El Neni that's never going to create, he couldn't create havoc in a post box. And then you've got like Xhaka,
But to get footballers to get a bit of form back into footballers, you've got to play them, Lee, haven't you?
Yeah, but play them with somebody that's playing in form. Imagine if you'd have played Pepe alongside Smith Rowe and Lacazette, or Eddie with those players in front of him. You know what I mean? Give these blokes a chance to foul. Somebody said on there it's a ridiculous decision to take off Martinelli and keep those guys on. I personally going to stick up for Mikel here. I think that Aubameyang is going to be out for Tuesday night, and I think that Martinelli will play in that game. That's why I think he took him off after 50, 60 minutes. If he don't, it's another questionable decision. I just feel that it's like, listen, can I just go from the backside of it,
If you like it that way, Josh.
Yeah, I love it.
Whatever floats.
Let's go around the back.
Whatever floats your boat, mate.
Yeah, let's float me boat. Let's go around the back. Gabriel, he puts in, who's rusty and hasn't played for a little while, puts him alongside Holding, puts him alongside Bellerin, Cedric. It's a pretty solid back forward scenario. And even him in that first half was a little bit rusty. You could see that. He got better as the game went on. But his first half, but he's around better players and whatever. Then you look at the guys up front. They're in that same sort of scenario, and they're all trying to help each other out. Where I just feel that it just wasn't. I think that it was not balanced right. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? And I agree with what you're saying. We could have. The other teams have made substitute rotating it. Look at Van der Beek yesterday. Now he had players in and around him. They hadn't played for a long while. He didn't do the business, and that's with Rashford and players of ability around him. But you know what I mean? You're asking then to put in either Eddie or Pepe with 4 players that are not playing well. I just felt that it was a big gamble, and it didn't pay off. But I'm not going to condemn Arteta for it. He's made that decision. He's done that. All I'm saying is I just felt a little bit cheated because I love the FA Cup. That's all I'm saying, And I'm telling you what, I will be coming hard on Arteta if he doesn't win on Tuesday. And you, dumber, and all. I'll be at the pair of you on that WhatsApp group.
All
3
right.
points.
All right, dirty grandpa.
3
All right,
points.
Dirty grandpa, yeah.
No, the thing is though, like what I struggle to understand, right, is why when the FA Cup is pushed down the list of priorities, is everybody outraged as if this hasn't been happening for the last 15 years.
Agree with that.
Arsene Wenger. Remember Arsene Wenger? He was getting in the top 4 and prioritizing that over everything, and everybody was going, they were all taking the piss out of it. But the point is, we're in a much worse position now than Arsene Wenger ever left us in. So if he was prioritizing then how can we now look at this team and think that they're good enough to not have to prioritise? You see what I mean? There's been such a massive fall that, we have to accept that. And look, it's not ideal, man. I love the FA Cup as well. For me, growing up, the FA Cup, watching Arsenal win the FA Cup was amazing. But it's just...
And I'll tell you
way it
something
is.
else. I'll tell you something else about the FA Cup, and I do agree with this. And this is what it peed me off when you ever look at Derby had to play the kids, Aston Villa had to play the kids in a round before, and then love and behold, the next round's midweek. So it ain't just clubs messing about with the FA Cup. It's the FA itself and all that. Like, so I do agree with that, but I still think that Arsenal should be a big enough club to be able to go on that front,
This one comes in from Daniel, the Blind Goon. A great show tonight, lads.
Hey, dear Daniel.
Thanks for the distraction. I'm starting to struggle a bit mentally with everything that's going on. Daniel, DMs are open, mate. If you want to chat, don't hesitate. We follow each other. If you want to chat, let's have a chat. No problem at all. Keep that chin up, mate. Keep thinking positive. Everything's going to be all right in the not so distant future. Fingers crossed. Just DM me, mate, if you want to chat. No problem. DM any of us. We're here. If you want to have an old chat, no problem at all. Thank you for your kind donation, mate. Everyone go and subscribe to Daniel's channel, please. The Blind Gooner. Another very, very good Arsenal channel.
I'm really serious. I'm going to feel bad eating that Big Mac now.
No, you're not.
Oh dear. So, Mark, we all wanted all these players out. These players that were costing us money and not playing. They've started to leave now. So I'm very, very excited about this lad coming in from Real Madrid, Martin. Is it? I think it's pronounced Odegaard, is it?
Odegaard. Yeah. It's a bit like how Ozil's name was supposed to be pronounced as well.
Odegaard.
I'm
I'm
not excited about this lad coming in. If he was any good,
not being positive.
If he was any good, he'd be playing for Real Madrid. And what I'm not buying into is that we're going to take a lad who's a bit all over the shop, a bit up and down. We're going to move him countries where we're in a full lockdown, so he's going to struggle to integrate into a squad. We've got nobody over here of his nationality. I'm sure he'll make friends. I'm sure he's a good lad, but he's very, very young, and I think he will just about get up to speed with the Premier League in about May the 24th. And this is going to be a complete and utter waste of time. But, nice to have a bit of business being done with Real Madrid, I suppose. If he didn't play for Real Madrid, would we be getting excited about him? Absolutely not. He's been bang average for Sociedad.
I would disagree with that, man. I would disagree with the Sociedad thing. I think he was really good there.
Harry, have you watched him? Is he any good?
I think he had a good season last season at Real Sociedad. I'm just pulling up the details now on the screen because I looked at this yesterday for a piece of work I was doing. So, looking at in terms of the numbers, 31 La Liga appearances last season, 4 goals is not amazing, 6 assists, so 10 direct goal contributions in 31 games. So it's like 1 in 3.
Pony stats.
For
me, he's going to come to a much harder league. He's going to do nothing.
For me, I think with Odegaard, you're looking at someone who clearly has the talent. Look, this is a kid that was picked up by Real Madrid at 16 years old. And if you cast your mind back, he was heavily linked with a move to Arsenal at that point as well. Came to London, Colney, whatever, had the meetings, but decided to choose Real Madrid, as most kids would, which I understand. I think with him, the reason that you have to kind of take his lack of game time with a bit of a pinch of salt is because Zinedine Zidane is one of these managers who has his favourites and he won't drift away from that. He's not the first player at Real Madrid under Zinedine Zidane to be cast aside when actually he had the talent to be involved in some capacity. There's been others. Gareth Bale won Real Madrid all those Champions Leagues and couldn't get a look in under Zidane. So if Zidane doesn't fancy you, you don't play. It's as simple as that. And I think that he's a player that what he does is he provides a bit of backup to Emile Smith-Rowe, but he's also not so outstanding that Emile Smith-Rowe's not going to get a look in. And so he doesn't really block his development for me. If anything, it makes competition between the two of them, because I'd say in terms of their ability, they're around about the same level. And I think that's healthy. And that's why I think this is a perfect fit, rather than us going and getting, a £25 million attacking midfielder who's going to play every single game, and then us blocking Emile Smith-Rowe from pushing on. Because I genuinely believe that Emile Smith-Rowe is an incredible talent. If he can stay fit and carry on progressing, I think he'll be some player. And I was kind of, on the one hand, I wanted us to get someone, but on the other hand, I was a bit worried about how
Like me, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to hinder him, do you? You don't want to hinder his progression.
Why go after this lad at all when we've already got Ceballos on loan?
Because it doesn't cost anything.
Why don't we just push Ceballos further up the pitch? So, now we've got Partey back fit. We've got El Nini, Xhaka, Partey. They can all sit in front of the back four. Why isn't Ceballos? When he came to the club, he was an attacking midfielder. And it's Arteta dragging him back and back. But Arteta's the one dragging him back further back and back. He could play further up the pitch, Harry.
I don't think so, because he's never been a player that's scored goals in his career. He's never been a player that necessarily provides assists. He's always been a ball progressor, Ceballos. What he does is he drops in that hole, he gets on the ball. The problem with Ceballos is he hasn't even been able to do it at Arsenal, because actually Xhaka does that. Drops that little bit deeper, gets the ball off the defenders. And in Spain, where it's a little bit less physical, someone like Ceballos can get away with that. I just think that Ceballos doesn't really fit with us. And, you say, why did we do it? Well, it doesn't cost us anything. I think the loan fees are around about £2 million, which is nothing nowadays. And then you're talking about paying his wages, which ain't massively big because he's so young. And it's a very low risk deal, isn't it? There's no obligation.
In your opinion, then, so let's agree that bringing him in for next to nothing and bolstering the squad with all these games that we've got coming thick and fast is a good thing. That's good. I get that. Bodies, squad, that's going to help with the rotation and take some burden off of Smith-Rowe. What, in your opinion, then, is a success? If this loan is to be classed as a success, what are you expecting this lad to do come the end of the season, assist and goals wise? Are you going to say he needs to get sort of 5 goals, 10 assists in the second half of the season, and it would have been good business?
But this is the thing, like you said, that you said the stats were pony when I read them off. The thing is, stats can be misleading. As Judge said. As Judge said, Pepe could have got 2 assists on Saturday, so it depends on the context of it. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to watch him and I'm going to judge him based on whether I think he did his job, which was to create opportunities, whether he took opportunities that came his way, and I'll make the judgment that way. The stats help, and they're a part of an argument, but they're not the whole argument.
The other thing is, I think which you've got to take into consideration. I'll ask you guys this: do you think like maybe he's a stopgap for something like in the summer? We can't get who we want in the summer, so we took him on loan till the end of the summer to get the player that we want. Maybe he's not available in January, so we've had to do this, or do we look at this as maybe this is a potential signing for us?
It's a good point, mate, because I mean, like, these 2 signings have really. I mean, we also were forgetting that we signed Matt Ryan from Brighton as well last week.
Signing that, by the way.
Fantastic signing. And these 2 signings have come completely out of the blue. So perhaps, Lee, you make a massive point there. Yeah, that we've gone in for someone, and they've said no, not until the summer. So he's had to change his ways and go for Odegaard on loan. Harry?
Yeah. He's obviously they're acting with a view to the summer still. I think that's part of the appeal of this deal, is that you're not obligated to then lay out an absolute fortune on him if it don't work out. There is no obligation. If Arsenal decide in the summer and Real Madrid decide that a deal could potentially done and the loan's been good, they'll sit down at the table and they'll discuss it. But without that obligation, it feels like the right thing to do. And the Matt Ryan thing feels like the right thing to do, because you bring him in, you backfill the squad. And in Matty Ryan's case, he's someone who, come the end of the season, becomes officially a free agent. So if he does well and you like him and you want to keep him around the place, you can sign him up for free. So the thing that people have to remember here is Arsenal have cut significant numbers off of the wage bill in this window by getting Ozil out, by getting Socrates out. Some of Kolasinac's wages are being subsidised now. Mustafi's looking like he's going to go as well. But don't expect Arsenal straight away to go and to take up that budget again. Because the whole argument, which we were speaking about at the top of the show, was actually we've been paying more than we can afford. So we have to bring that down. It will go back up again, but it won't go all the way back up to what it was. So these deals just make sense for now. And Arsenal's progress in this transfer window, Arsenal's goals in this transfer window are to set the scene for what they can do in the summer. That's what they're doing here. They're getting out the deadwood and they're filling up gaps in the squad. And come the summer, it will be a different view totally.
Yeah, brilliant point.
Because they are just filling up gaps until they can do something in the summer, which is why I'm not getting excited about it, because he's just a stopgap.
Lee, I'll come to you on this one. This comes in from Cheap Heat Productions podcast, a podcast that we've both been on, actually, run by my good friend Maurice. Go over and look at Maurice's YouTube channel. He's actually got some really good guests on there. If you like wrestling, interviewed lots of wrestlers, a few movie stars, and me and Lee. Is there an argument to be said that we ain't good enough to play Champions League football? I'd take FO Cup over getting spanked on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. He makes a good point there, Lee, to be honest.
Yeah, he does make a good point, and we're not good enough at the moment. But I think that if we were to get into the Champions League, it would then set up some funds to get us to get some better players. But let's face it, even if we got in, if we did get into the Champions League and we spend some funds, it still would take a mighty lot to compete in the Champions League, if I'll be honest. But you know, in the Champions League, you need a little bit of luck, and if the draw goes your way, you can get yourself into the last few, and anything can happen. So it's a valid point at the moment. Look, listen, if you ask me if the squad ain't good enough at this moment in time to compete to get into the top four, it's not good enough to get into the Champions League, and it's not. And we need to up our quality of player in 3 or 4 positions. I think Arsenal, if I'll be honest, are 3, maybe 4 players away from really competing.
Do you think that Arteta deserves then another year?
Listen, with me under Mikel Arteta, I am 50-50 on him. If he continues to win games of football, then fine. But there are things that do baffle me, and I tell you, the sort of little things that baffle me about him is making Mustafi captain. You know what I mean? A little decision like that. And I just think, well, where's that come from? Continually keep playing Eddie when I know that he's not good enough. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to be honest about this. I've watched Willock over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Has had as many chances as Eddie, and he's not getting no more chances no more. And probably, quite rightly, he's not quite at that standard that we need. And he's been left out of the squad. I look at the Maitland-Niles thing and I think to myself, well, what are you really doing with Maitland-Niles? We could have sold him for 20 million. That might have got us another player in a position that you want. The little things that are happening with him, and then someone will, bend in my ear, the Arteta in people will turn around and say, oh, yeah, but, he's still learning his game, learning his trade, making mistakes and whatever, give him time and all that. So I do see that side of it as well. But there's got to be a time when accountability has got to be laid at him, and then we've spoken about that, whether it be on that thing. But what I will say a bit about Mikel Arteta is that whether you think he's a novice or he's not good enough or whatever, you might say this about Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard today, and they've got every right to do that because they backed him with funds. I don't think Arsenal have really pushed the boat out to give Mikel the whole lot of tools to say, look, there you go, and if you foul, you fouled. I don't think you can do that. I think that he's been given half the tools, if you like. You know what I mean?
I think as a fan base, every single Arsenal fan would agree with you. If he'd have been given the same money as Lampard at the start of the season, 250 million, I think he spent, Lampard. Mark, if the board had come along and given Arteta 250 million pounds, he blew it, and we find ourselves in the position we are now, would you say, yeah, he's got to go?
No, because people are just so impatient these days. And it's a society we live in drives me nuts. You know what I mean? The people just I want it all. I want it now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just hold on a second. You know what I mean? It takes time to change the squad and get things playing your way. And I've said it before, I don't want to end up with a fractured squad of these players, this, that, and the other. You know, he is making great strides, Arteta, in these transfer windows. This board is backing him to the point that they are out in the dead wood. They've got their hands tied because of COVID. Everybody has. And that, by the way, is why we didn't sell anybody, because no one's got any money to buy people. And why would they? Why would they spend £10 million on a player that they can get for free now or in the next summer? They've only got to wait. They've only got to wait 1 year and you get him for nothing. No one's got any money. Full stop. Finished. You know, so we're all just making these deals, wheeling and dealing. And I get it. This lad coming from Real Madrid, he's going to fill a slot temporary, but it's not going to lead to anything, is it? That's what drives me mad, and that's why I don't get excited about it. Because if he's successful and he plays really well, Real Madrid are just going to take him straight back. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to benefit from it, apart from obviously we might get the benefit of it this season, so short term. But if he'd spent £250 million and got in at 2, 3, 4, 5 more players, then yes, he would be more accountable. But those lads take time to gel and things like that, don't they? You know, but we've still got to back him to go through this process. No, I wouldn't sack him. But then maybe I'm an old fool. Maybe I'm just not ruthless enough, you know. But let's get it right. I want to win the FA Cup. I want to finish in the top 4. I want to see this club competing back at the top of the table. And all the clubs that do that, Man United, Liverpool, they build every season. You know, Man United just chipping away at their squad. Been very fortunate they've had a couple of lads come through, Greenwood and Rashford. And so have we in Saka and Smith Rowe, and we've got Martin in it. You know, it's just got to let these. I mean, imagine what a player Saka's going to be this time next year. Do you see what I mean? It's just got to naturally build, hasn't it?
Yeah, Mark makes a great point there. Great, sorry. Mark's a great point. A year ago, we had, when people, I see Russ is in the chat, and we've had chats on that and said like, well, we ain't got no players, we ain't got no market value of our players. Since Mikel's been here a year, we've got, and I know like Martinelli wasn't his sign, but Martinelli now is 60, 70 million pound player potentially. Saka's worth even more than that. Then you look at Smith Rowe now. For all of a sudden, he's got market value. So the club market, Kieran Tierney's probably gone up. Yeah. So where we could actually do that, I'm not saying that we should, but we could actually sell one of those players to finance it, like Liverpool did. Like, you know, everybody used to say,
yeah.
Remember, they used to say we're never going to be a Liverpool. Well, we didn't have an asset like that, but we've now getting 2 or 3 or 4 of them coming in. So that's a very, very good point that Mark makes. So unfortunately, we're going to have all this market value and no bloody sod's going to have no money. But anyway, that's another point. But it is a good point. All of a sudden, the squad value has started to go up, which is a good thing.
Absolutely. Harry, I don't know about on this one. I think someone having a laugh. Opinions on the Swedish youngster.
Don't read it. Don't read it.
Why not?
I think I'm going to Google this guy because I've never heard of him. No, don't read it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is it one of those ones you're trying to catch? Yeah.
Come on, what's the gag?
Yeah,
read it in your head. Just don't say it out loud. Read it in your head.
Ah, yes, got it.
Yeah, don't read it.
I'm not going to read it, but I will show it because if he wants to pay £5 to try and catch me,
I haven't got it yet. I haven't got it yet.
Yeah, well, we're not. We won't.
I won't repeat it.
Someone just being a div. Unfortunately, you get them.
After the show, can you just explain?
Yes,
explain.
We will.
But yeah,
Well, look, there you go. It's coming into the chat there now, Lee.
Yeah.
You can work it out yourself.
Disgusting.
going back to that whole.
It's not. If that's the case, that's not even funny.
No,
It's not funny. Absolute idiot. Nigel, can you take him out, please, mate, and ban him? Thank you very much indeed.
But take his $4.99. I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, we'd take the £5, but then ban him.
Yeah. That's outrageous. Why would you want to say something like that?
I don't know why people. Yeah, I'm glad Harry told me not to read that actually because I didn't cop that. Why people would want to do?
I saw that initially in the chat earlier on, and I thought I've never heard of that player, and I googled it, and nothing came up.
Yeah,
and then when I saw it again, I thought, nah, this is not right. But yeah, anyway, forget that. Going back to kind of the whole rebuilding point and the comparison kind of with Frank Lampard. I mean, the Frank Lampard and Mikel Arteta situations are incomparable, man. You're talking about a guy who's had a season and a half. Mikel Arteta's not had it. Well, Frank Lampard had 18 months. Mikel Arteta's just about had 12. One's been given over in excess of £200 million to spend on players. He spent he spent almost 120 million on a couple that have been complete flops. His team are in 9th. They're 2 points above the worst Arsenal side in the last 15 years. And it's as simple as that. The pressure was on Frank Lampard the minute he got that money to spend. And in Mikel Arteta's case, it's completely different. We're talking about someone who actually hasn't been backed in that way financially and has taken over a squad in a far worse state. So, people will talk about Chelsea being ruthless. They can be ruthless because now they're going to bring in another manager. And I guarantee you the next transfer window, they'll throw money at him as well. We can't do that.
Yeah, we can't do that. Exactly. This one comes in from Ricardo's having a little bit of a go at us. Let's keep believing in that imaginary process. That's exactly what Kroenke wants. Well, I'll go back to the point of the process, I believe, is only just starting. In this transfer window. Mark, would you agree with that? People are saying let's trust the process. I think the process has only just started.
Yeah, and you ask what the process is. Well, it's bloody obvious, isn't it? The process is to get rid of overpaid deadwood who have got nothing, no ambition, no drive, no commitment to the club that are left in the squad, which, by the way, we've made very good inroads in the last couple of windows. Get rid of people who've got the wrong sort of attitude, Guendouzi. Lots of people have been bombed out who are not pulling in the right direction. And so the process is to get in a group of young, hungry, talented lads who want to play for the club and have got things and do in the game. That's what you want. You don't want a load of people in the game who have won the World Cup. Great for them, isn't it? They've won the World Cup. But seriously, does he want to go and win against Stoke on a Tuesday night when he's won the World Cup? His legacy is set. He's got the trophy in the cabinet. We want lads, young lads, who have still got all of this to achieve in the game. And that's the process. So we're freshening up this squad. We're changing the mentality in this club. And we're going to try and drive forward into a new era of our football club, because at the minute we're languishing around doing nothing. So that's what we're trying to do. That's the process. And it's only 2 transfer windows in. So, yeah, it's going to take a couple more. Sorry about that. It doesn't happen overnight.
Would you agree with that, Lee?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think if you look at them down the road, they've made 6 signings this summer and have got a little bit more stability and, got the areas they wanted to strengthen on. I think with Chelsea, for instance, I think did they make about 6 signings? I think 6 or 7. I think that they made.
They bought Werner, Havertz, Ziyech. They bought the goalkeeper in, Thiago Silva, and they bought someone else in on a free, I think. So 5 or 6.
5 or 6. So, but that that doesn't guarantee your success, does it? We spent £72 million on Pepe. We've not. So I think that. Do you know what? I'm going to say this now. I think that an inexperienced manager like Frank Lampard's found it hard to deal with those 6 new players coming in, plus all the other players in there, and maybe found it a little bit difficult. I think Arteta's found it very difficult with the overload of squad as well, where I think someone like Mourinho, whether you like him or you don't give a shit. He just says what, like he's left out. Like no one goes on about Danny Rose being left completely out of the squad, who was in an England international a year ago, you know what I mean, and losing things like that, because he's got that ruthlessness and a bit of experience to be able to deal with that. So I think that maybe that is a little bit of a problem with Mikel. I think at the end of the day, let's try and feel a little bit positive for Mikel. He's had a lot to deal with this last year. Not only coming into a club halfway through that was struggling. Then he had the COVID situation. Then he's had the dealing with the getting rid of players and things like that. So I'd imagine it's been a little bit tough on him, as it has for Frank Lampard, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? I think that maybe Chelsea should have probably backed him a little bit more, if I'll be honest. But I think the club like Arsenal, if we're not going to be spending big money, I think Mark's right. It's going to be over at least two windows. And when you say 2 windows, that's not a January window. That don't happen. You're talking summer window. So it's a process that's going to be a summer to summer. So I feel that when you say 2 windows, really it's 4 windows, because 2 of them we don't even use. And I'm not having a dig at Arsenal to say that. I think there's a lot of clubs and don't use this, and it's a very hard window in normal circumstances. So I think it is a long process, but as I think a few managers on their interviews today, when they were talking about Frank Lampard going, did say that time you don't get that no more. So Mikel Arteta is in a fortunate position.
Oh, he's very lucky.
Where is the club going to be giving him that little bit of time? So
But that's the thing, though, Judge, isn't it? Like just touching on that Chelsea thing. Chelsea were never going to give him time because they're Chelsea and they don't give anybody time. So then, why make that appointment in the first place?
Well,
So then we can't slag off our club for doing the same, i.e., going down the route of someone inexperienced. Then we can't slag them off for giving him that time, because when you bring someone in like that, it's very clear that they're going to need that time, isn't it? And
Exactly.
And whilst I think that Lampard actually, isn't really good enough for a club with the demands of Chelsea and probably should have got sacked, I do have a bit of sympathy for him there, because it's like, well, why did you hire him then? And that's why, as a football club, we've got to decide, yes, we want the ruthlessness, yes, we want the success, but also we made that appointment knowing full well what it was going to take, how long it was going to take, and so we have to give it a chance as well.
Just on that, Texas Gunner.
Half pints.
Not many things I'd love more to slam a few points with lead judges. Let me tell you, it would last about 25 minutes.
Craig, can I just say a couple of things in the group chat there? Thanks. Hello. And also, somebody who says patience equals lack of ambition. I think no, it's actually a lack of funds. You know what I mean? Let's have it right. If we had £1 billion in the bank, I'd expect us to be signing Mbappe. By the way, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm just a realist.
Yeah.
So I do have ambition, but we haven't got the money. Yeah, so it's going to take time to build it, isn't it? And then he said Aston Villa have done it. What have Aston Villa done? They've won nothing. As far have I missed something?
They just avoided relegation. That's about it.
I think what he's saying there, Aston Villa, I think they've made about 5 or 6 signings, and what they've done is from which you have to admire them for, by the way.
Yeah, but it wasn't hard to improve that squad. It wasn't hard to improve that squad, was it? They were pony.
No, and they've done what they've had to do, but they've had to do that to get to where they are. You know what I mean? But listen, Aston Villa
making the next step, isn't it? It's very difficult to make that next step. They're going to need to spend another £300 million in the next 2 years.
And I agree with you there. Like Aston Villa's expectations are different to what Arsenal's expectations are. And this is the thing that I don't think people appreciate. You know what I mean? Arsenal are a different animal to a Wolves, and so when a Wolves and an Aston Villa are in the top 6, or even a Leicester, great that they're doing it. But ultimately, they're overachieving. This is why Arsenal fans, as well, a lot of them are hypocrites, right? And I'm not digging out anyone specifically. I'm talking about in general, right? Because when we was having this debate about, should he have rested players? Should he have prioritised the FA Cup? And people were going, oh, no, but we're never going to get the top 4 anyway. So, no, he should. Hold on a minute. We talk about loser mentality. A loser is someone who sees an objective within grasp, within reach,
Might be unlikely, but it's still there. It's still on the table. A loser is someone who gives up on chasing what their objective is. That's what a loser is, not someone who decides to still persist after the main objective rather than the secondary one. And so you can't call him a loser, and you can't call Arsenal losers and then moan when they're bloody looking at going into the Champions League. Whether you think we're good enough to win that competition or not is irrelevant. You aim for the very best.
Absolutely. Lee, I want to come to you on this one. Thank you very much, Luke, for the kind donation, mate. Much appreciated, and thanks for your support. Luke says he's really happy with Arteta. He's coaching the youngsters coming through well, and part of that is down to him. What would you say to that?
Yeah. Can you say that again? I didn't see that.
He's basically what he's saying is the youngsters coming through is down to good coaching by Arteta.
50-50. I think that that's a. Do you know what? That's a tough question. Listen, we can't criticise Mikel Arteta, I suppose, if he's not if he's when people are saying that he's not doing this and he's doing that, you know, he's not getting a tune out of Willian, he's not getting a tune out of Pepe, but he's certainly getting a tune out of Saka, and he's certainly getting a tune out of Smith Rowe. Like, you know, I will question him a little bit because I think he's got them out of them too. He certainly hasn't got it out of Martinelli yet, so I think that we'll have to wait and see on that. And I think Eddie has not really done the business, but I also think you've got to say that he's got Tierney playing fantastically well. So, you know, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's the player and what the player wants to do and things like that, but also you've got to say that the coach is doing that there. I think that you have to say that some players have improved and some haven't. The younger ones, yeah, I've got to say Tierney's been a revelation. I think that the one thing I would say, whether it's Mikel or him, is that he's got himself fit, where he's now fit as he can possibly be, and I think that that's a big thing. I think that's a fantastic question.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat now saying Arteta didn't unearth these players. That's not what I said. No, 1 second. No, that's not what I said, was it? And that's not what Luke said. No one said that Arteta unearthed them. Luke said he's coaching them well. He's
and
coaching
also as well, as a manager, I think and it's only natural, you shouldn't really have favourites, but I think you will, as a manager, as a coach, you'll gravitate to certain players that you really personally believe in. And maybe, you know, consciously or non-consciously, you will give them more love, more affection, more of your time, and you'll dedicate more of your efforts to developing them. And someone like Saka, who's shown from day one that he's up to it, will have got more love from Mikel Arteta than Nicolas Pepe would have. And any manager will have that. No manager can give equal attention to 25 players. So that will happen, won't it? And that's why you'll look at some players and say, yes, they've really pushed on under Mikel, and people will make the counter argument that others haven't.
I think he said, Harry, didn't he, in his last press conference, or one of his last press conferences, that his squad was bloated and it was impossible almost to keep the squad happy. And when you got people hanging around the place who are not even included in the playing squads, you know, how you know, they are inevitably going to become a negative problem, aren't they? You know, so, and he recognised that, and that's why they're moving on, and that's why they're paying people's contracts up, because they just want them out from around the ground, you know, bringing the place down, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Just people in the chat there. Wycombe Wanderers are beating Tottenham.
There's no Harry Kane. There's no Son. There's no.
Oh, isn't there?
There's no Ndombele.
He must be rotating them, Harry. He must be rotating them.
Squad rotation. What's that?
I don't believe that what I'm listening to there. Harry Kane on the bench. There we go.
Aubameyang was supposed to be on the bench.
He must be keeping them for the league game.
They're on the bench.
This one here.
This one comes
from one. Yeah, it'll be funny, won't it? This one comes in from Sonny. He says it's no coincidence that the youngest players can adapt their game and improve. I think he means under Arteta. We're talking about the coaching.
Naturally, as a player, if you're at the end of your career, there are habits in your game that you won't be able to get out. Whereas if you're at the beginning of your career, you'll be able to adapt easy. It's like when you're a kid, you learn a language easier, don't you, than when you're an older person, because
and also as a youngster,
Lee, you just can't turn up on time. It's just late. You can't change him now. It's just the way he is. You know?
That's it. But I will say this: also as a young player, it maybe not about the coaching, because it's about being given the opportunity. As you know, it's trust. A manager trusting you to play. Now that is a big boost. Don't matter whether you're playing non-league football or not. If the manager says to you, like, you're going in today, then that trust factor comes in. That gives you the opportunity to play. And yet you learn and pick up through the coaching, but it is ultimately being given that trust. And Mikel Arteta, whether it's through funds, as what Mark was saying, or whatever, he's being given that trust, you know, and that's why I think someone like Phil Foden is a top player, because there's all that financial clout that Manchester City have got, and still the coach is trusting him and putting him in games, you know, like, you know, and I think that is a key thing.
Well, one thing I've never understood. Now, look, I'm not digging out. Well, I suppose I am digging him out a bit, but not nastily. One thing I've never understood with Arsenal fans is this: it shows how sad we've become when we're interested in how Spurs are doing. As an Arsenal fan, I'm always interested in what Spurs are doing, because if they lose, I want to go ham and take the piss. I don't care whether we're 15th, 20th, 21st, 22nd in the Championship. If Spurs lose any game, I'm taking the piss. And it's as simple as that. That's my job as an Arsenal fan.
Especially if they go out the cup to a lower league side.
Yeah. You know, that's people. Why have we gone like this fan base, Harry? Why have we gone all snowflake? As a fan base, you can't take the mickey out of Spurs anymore because they're above us. What the hell has that got to do with it?
It's not even the fan base; it's the whole world. To be honest,
yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. Like, to me, I kind of get it to a degree. Whereas, like, when you're shit yourself, you shouldn't really be poking fun. But ultimately, it's our biggest rivals. You know, like, I can understand it if you're talking about us having a go at Liverpool, for example.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really take the piss out of Liverpool, but Spurs, we mix with Spurs fans in everyday life. You know, living where we live.
You might do, Harry, but I bloody don't.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by them. I am surrounded by them.
I work there every day, mate. They're everywhere.
Absolutely.
I think, do you know what? I just want to say something. When Arsenal, this is how I see it. And when Arsenal were winning leagues and really, really title, I wasn't so ferocious with Spurs.
Agreed. Yeah, same.
But I still would give it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and the thing is now, what I feel has happened now is that Spurs, like they do, have got a bit above their station, and we've allowed it to happen. And that's what gropes me a little bit more, is because I get things like, I'll tell you one today, if I can get it up quickly, you know,
sorry about the innuendos Lee keeps giving this evening.
No, like, you know, I get like, I don't know if you can see that or you can't see that. But anyway, it says pentagon, hexagon, octagon, season gone with the Arsenal badge. You know what I mean? Little things like that. And I think, ooh, you rutters. You know what I mean? Like, but when Arsenal were at their best and winning titles, I've never done that to Spurs fans. They do it to us, and that's what gets my go. And so now when they lose and give it that, I don't care if we're bottom of the league. I will give them as much stick as I can, because
we're supposed to do.
It's the way it is, and they do it with us. You know, they're loving it at the moment where we are in the league, because, you know, just imagine all the pain that they've had over the last 20 years. The pain we've got now, we have the pain with them now, but they're not winning trophies and things like that. We're still winning the trophies, and they're better than us. You know what I mean? Like, but when we was at the best, when we was top dogs winning trophies, they were crap. They were crap. They must hate us. They love it. Bring it on. I hate them. I hope they get stuffed by Wigan today, 3-0. And Harry Kane comes on and don't do nothing. Lovely.
I think we'll leave it there this evening. I'll tell you what, boys, it has been a bloody really good therapy session. Even being part of it, to get that out of the system, to get our points of view across in a respectful and meaningful way. I've really, really enjoyed it this evening. I hope you've all enjoyed it who have been watching. Thank you very much for your support. Thanks for staying here with us for the evening and listen to us carry on. Mark, my thanks to you, mate, as always.
You know me, super sub. You know, if you ever can't make it, just let me know. I'll be there. Rotation and all that. It's rotation.
Well, Dan's doing a Mercer Ozil tonight. You might see yourself in the team, you know.
I have actually seen him under a brolly, and he does look very dashing.
Harry, my thanks to you, sir. Are you doing a podcast after this?
No, we've already done 2 today, so that's it for today. Back tomorrow with a podcast looking ahead to the Southampton game, a watch along, and then a post-match show afterwards.
Very good. So there you go. Get over to Chronicles of a Gooner and subscribe to Harry's channel right now. Judges!
Thank you. And just thanks for everybody in the chat. I tell you what, some blinding conversations going on there, like, you know. So Messenger. That's an old one.
Someone said in the chat that I'm holding an apple, but I was showing it's a tennis ball.
A tennis ball, like, yeah.
I throw it on the wall and catch it when I'm trying to concentrate.
That's Harry's stress ball.
Yeah. I agree with you there. A superb chat room that we've got. I haven't seen, other than that fool there trying to catch us out, I haven't seen anyone having a go at each other. It's all, you know, it's all opinionated. It's all good. It's all good banter. There's someone there. Thanks from India. I love the podcast as always. Super fan. It's 2 in the night here. You are a super fan. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Quick score prediction for tomorrow night, Lee.
Southampton 0, Arsenal 4.
Come on, you Gooners! Come on, you Gooners! I love it.
They're going to tire. We're going to run all over them because they're tired and didn't rotate.
Mark, quick prediction.
Yeah, we're going to win. I think we'll win. I think we'll win 2-0. I know that they've got an injury, haven't they, off the back of playing someone yesterday. So it's a good job we rotated because
both their fullbacks.
They've lost both their fullbacks. But you know,
should have rested them. Should have rested them.
Yeah.
Should have done. He should have rotated. He should have rotated. Harry,
I'm going to go for the famous 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Famous 1-0 to the Arsenal. Yeah, I'm going for 2-0.
Boring, Harry.
I'm going with Mark.
What's that?
Where are we going?
Where are you taking him?
Where are we going?
2-0.
Lockdown, isn't it? We can't go.
You can't.
Yeah, very good job. Yeah, you should think Canadians. You should feel the same.
Unless you FaceTime each other. Woo!
Yeah, we ain't the ones that send 50 group chat phone calls into the group, and like none of them.
It's like adding your nan into a WhatsApp group.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I dare not know how I even do it.
That's why we call him Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah. What's going on here then? Why is everyone's face on there?
Who's going, what's this? Who's ringing me? Oh no, it's me ringing everyone else. Oh.
Yeah. How have I done that then?
One mistake I made. One mistake. That's all.
What do you mean just once a week? You know what are you on about?
Thanks very much for staying with us. We'll see you all. We'll see you.
But Nigel run me back.
A big thanks to Nigel, actually. Big thanks.
Well done, Nigel. Done a fantastic job, but don't ever ring me. Don't ever ring me.
It's very sacred to have Lee Judge's number, let me tell you. It's very sacred. Until we see you again next week, next Monday, 7:00. I think we're doing Dan is doing a transfer show this Thursday, I think.
Wednesday. We're doing it Wednesday.
Wednesday, is it Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday,
Okay,
yeah. We've got loads of special guests.
Have we?
Well, you ain't, but me and Dan have. That's if he's stops sulking and comes out of his.
Well, hang on a minute. I'm supposed to be on it. Thank you very much.
Oh, are you? Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are. Yeah, yeah.
You think it's your bloody show or something? Who's start throwing around
No,
demands
that's
like
right.
that?
We're all on it at first, aren't we? That's right. It's all us four on it first, I think.
I'm not coming on it. I've had
Are
enough.
you not coming on?
I can't.
Oh no, that's right, because it's special guest. Sorry,
I'm not. I am special, mate. Don't worry about that. You've seen me in the back of a minibus.
So we've got that coming on Wednesday. So we'll see you all Wednesday. We'll tweet out the time it's going to start and all that. Yes, we've all got our pants on. We have. Someone just asking, Graham.
I'm not standing up.
Thanks to everyone for watching Standing Round. We'll see you next Monday. We'll see you Wednesday, and we'll see you next Monday for the podcast. Until we see you again, take care of yourselves and each other. Up the Arsenal.
Where are you, Gunners?